Every morning, before the first coffee shop opens, before traffic fills the streets, and before millions of people begin rushing to work, someone is already watching the city. Not a police officer, not a security camera, a pigeon. Perched high on a rooftop, it silently studies everything below. It knows where food will appear before people even arrive. It knows which streets become crowded, which parks stay quiet, and which buildings provide shelter when storms roll in. To most of us, pigeons are just another part of the background, ordinary birds we barely notice. But what if we've misunderstood them completely? What if these birds know something about our cities that we don't? Because while humans built the skyscrapers, roads, and bridges, pigeons mastered them. And their success reveals a surprising truth about intelligence, adaptation, and survival. Introduction. Walk through almost any major city on Earth, whether it's New York, London, Tokyo, Sydney, or Toronto, and you'll find pigeons. They gather in train stations, public squares, rooftops, and quiet alleyways. No matter the language, culture, or climate, they always seem to be there. It's so common that we rarely stop to ask why. Why have pigeons succeeded where so many other animals have failed? How did one bird become one of the most successful urban survivors in history? The answer begins thousands of years ago. Long before skyscrapers reached into the clouds, the ancestors of modern pigeons lived on steep coastal cliffs. Those rocky ledges protected them from predators and gave them clear views of the surrounding landscape. Then humans arrived. As civilizations expanded, we unknowingly recreated the perfect habitat. Stone buildings became artificial cliffs. Bridges replaced rocky ledges. Skyscrapers became giant nesting walls stretching toward the sky. Without realizing it, we built an enormous habitat designed almost perfectly for pigeons. But that's only part of the story. Their true advantage isn't simply where they live. It's how they think. And once you understand that, you'll never look at a pigeon the same way again. Chapter 1. The city through a pigeon's eyes. Imagine standing on top of a 50-story building. From that height, the city becomes something completely different. Cars move like streams of water. People follow predictable paths. Parks appear as islands of green, surrounded by rivers of concrete. This is the world pigeons see every single day. Unlike humans, they aren't trapped at street level. They experience the city in 3 dimensions. Scientists have discovered that pigeons create detailed mental maps using landmarks such as rivers, highways, towers, bridges, and even the position of the sun. Every flight adds another layer to this invisible map. Instead of memorizing one route, they build an entire network of possibilities. If construction blocks one path, they simply choose another. If a predator appears, they already know dozens of escape routes. Humans often depend on GPS. Pigeons carry one inside their brains. Researchers have repeatedly shown that pigeons can return home from remarkable distances, navigating unfamiliar landscapes with astonishing accuracy. Even after traveling hundreds of kilometers, many find their way back. But cities offer far more than navigation challenges. They're constantly changing. Roads close. Buildings rise. Parks disappear. Restaurants open. Construction begins. To survive here, pigeons must adapt every single day. And they do, without complaints, without confusion, without needing a map application. They simply observe, remember, and adjust. This flexibility is one of the greatest secrets behind their success. Yet navigation is only the beginning. Because the most valuable thing pigeons have learned isn't about streets. It's about us. And that's where their story becomes even more fascinating. Chapter 2. They study human behavior. Most people think they're watching pigeons. In reality, pigeons spend just as much time watching us. Every day, they observe millions of tiny human routines. The office worker who eats lunch in the same park every afternoon. The bakery employee who throws away bread at closing time. The tourists who always drop food while taking pictures. The children who scatter crumbs across the sidewalk. To a pigeon, these aren't random events. They're predictable patterns. Over weeks, months, and years, Pigeons learn exactly when and where opportunities appear. If one location stops producing food, they quietly move elsewhere. If a new cafe opens with outdoor seating, pigeons quickly investigate. Within days, they've already updated their mental map. This remarkable ability depends on memory. Studies suggest pigeons can recognize individual places, remember successful feeding sites, and distinguish between safe and dangerous locations. Some researchers have even found evidence that pigeons can recognize human faces under controlled conditions, helping them decide whom to approach and whom to avoid. Think about that for a moment. While you're walking through the city without noticing the pigeons, some of them may already recognize you as part of their daily environment. You're simply another pattern in a city full of patterns. To humans, cities often feel chaotic. To pigeons, they're surprisingly predictable. Every traffic light, every lunchtime crowd, every train station, every busy square, every weekend event, it's all part of a living schedule they've learned to read. This raises an unexpected question. If pigeons understand our routines so well, what other secrets have they discovered about the cities we call home? The answer reveals an intelligence hidden in plain sight, one that has quietly helped pigeons thrive for generations. Have you ever been lost in a city you've visited before? The streets look familiar. The buildings seem recognizable. Yet somehow, every turn feels uncertain. For a pigeon, that confusion is surprisingly rare. Scientists have spent decades trying to understand how pigeons navigate with such incredible accuracy. The answer isn't a single ability. It's a combination of remarkable senses working together. They recognize rivers, roads, parks, bridges, and tall buildings. They use the position of the sun as a natural compass. On cloudy days, they can still rely on landmarks they've memorized through countless flights. Some research even suggests pigeons may be sensitive to Earth's magnetic field, giving them another clue about direction when visual landmarks aren't enough. It's as if every flight adds another layer to an invisible map stored inside their minds. But here's what makes this truly extraordinary. A city never stays the same. New buildings rise. Old ones disappear. Roads close. Construction changes familiar routes. Yet pigeons adapt almost effortlessly. Instead of depending on a single path, they constantly update their mental maps. Every change becomes new information. Every obstacle becomes another lesson. Humans often struggle when our GPS loses signal. Pigeons have spent millions of years becoming their own navigation system. This ability doesn't just help them survive. It helps them stay one step ahead. Because in a city, survival isn't only about finding food. It's about knowing where danger is hiding. And few animals understand urban danger better than pigeons. Chapter 4. Surviving a world built for humans. Cities were never designed for birds. They're loud, crowded, filled with speeding vehicles, glass buildings, pollution, predators, and millions of unpredictable people. For most wildlife, these conditions are overwhelming. Yet pigeons have transformed these challenges into opportunities. Busy train stations become feeding grounds. Office buildings become nesting cliffs. Bridges become safe shelters from rain. Even the warmth escaping from subway vents during winter can provide a life-saving refuge. To a pigeon, almost every human structure has a purpose. But survival requires more than finding shelter. It requires making thousands of tiny decisions every day. Should they fly now or wait? Is the approaching person carrying food or simply passing by? Is the dog on a leash or running free? Can they cross the street before the next wave of traffic? These decisions happen in seconds. Every successful choice increases their chances of surviving another day. Every mistake could be their last. Natural selection has rewarded pigeons that learn quickly, stay alert, and adapt faster than their surroundings change. Generation after generation, the smartest survivors passed those advantages to their offspring. Over time, pigeons became specialists in one of the most difficult environments on Earth, the modern city. Ironically, the places humans find stressful have become the places pigeons understand best. But perhaps their greatest strength isn't intelligence alone. It's something many people overlook completely: their ability to work together. Chapter 5. The social geniuses above our heads. Watch a flock of pigeons take flight. At first, it looks chaotic. Hundreds of birds explode into the sky at once, twisting and turning as if moving with a single mind. But look closer. There is no leader shouting commands, no traffic signals, no written rules. Yet somehow, every bird reacts almost instantly to the movements of its neighbors. Scientists believe this remarkable coordination comes from each pigeon constantly monitoring the birds closest to it. Tiny adjustments, made in fractions of a second, allow the entire flock to move as one. This teamwork offers enormous advantages. Many eyes can spot danger faster than one. Large groups confuse predators during attacks, and information spreads quickly. If one pigeon discovers a reliable food source, others often learn about it by following. Pigeons are also surprisingly devoted parents. Unlike many birds, both the male and female share responsibilities. They build nests together. They take turns protecting their eggs. After the chicks hatch, both parents produce a nutritious substance known as crop milk, feeding their young until they're strong enough to survive. This level of cooperation strengthens the next generation and increases the chances of survival. It's another reason pigeons have flourished for thousands of years. To us, they may seem ordinary. To each other, they're members of a complex society built on communication, memory, trust, and cooperation. Perhaps that's why they've succeeded in almost every city humans have built. Not because they're the strongest birds, not because they're the fastest, but because they're among the most adaptable. And adaptation has always been nature's greatest survival strategy. Still, one question remains. If pigeons have mastered our cities so completely, what does their success reveal about us? The answer may change the way you see every pigeon perched on a rooftop, every flock crossing a busy street, and every quiet observer watching from above. Reply. Chapter 6. The city's true masters. Take a moment to imagine a city without people. The traffic has stopped. The sidewalks are empty. The office lights are dark. Yet life continues. On rooftops, beneath bridges, along railway stations, and in quiet public squares, pigeons remain. Long before the first person arrives each morning, they're already awake. They scan the skyline, watch the streets below, and begin another day in a world they've mastered. Unlike humans, pigeons don't own the city. They don't build it. They don't control it. But they understand it. Every day, they gather information without realizing it. They notice which buildings provide warmth during winter, where fresh water collects after rain, and which parks are busiest on weekends. They remember the safest places to rest, the quickest escape routes, and the most reliable sources of food. While we rush from one destination to another, focused on our schedules and screens, pigeons are constantly observing the environment around them. In many ways, they experience the city more completely than we do. Scientists often describe intelligence as the ability to solve problems, adapt to change, and learn from experience. By that definition, pigeons are remarkably intelligent. They don't complain when the city changes. They change with it. A new building appears. They investigate. A familiar food source disappears. They search for another. Construction blocks an old flight path. Within days, they've already discovered a better route. Their greatest strength isn't physical power. It's flexibility. History has shown that species capable of adapting are often the ones that survive the longest. And few animals have adapted to human civilization as successfully as the pigeon. Conclusion. For centuries, pigeons have lived beside us. We call them common, ordinary, even pests. But perhaps that's because we stopped paying attention. Behind those small, watchful eyes is an animal shaped by millions of years of evolution and thousands of years of living alongside humanity. A bird capable of recognizing patterns, remembering places, learning from experience, navigating enormous cities, working together, protecting its family, and thriving in environments that challenge countless other species. The next time you walk through a crowded city square, don't just look at the buildings. Look up. Notice the pigeons resting on rooftops, gliding between skyscrapers, or quietly watching from a nearby ledge. They aren't there by accident. They're exactly where they need to be. Every rooftop is part of their map. Every street tells a story. Every human crowd is another predictable pattern they've learned to understand. In many ways, pigeons have solved the puzzle of urban life better than we have. They remind us that intelligence doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks ordinary. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. And sometimes, the creatures we overlook every day are the ones with the most remarkable stories to tell. The city belongs to millions of people, but it also belongs to the birds that learned to understand it long before most of us ever noticed they were watching. If this documentary changed the way you see pigeons, imagine what other secrets the natural world is hiding in plain sight. Every bird, every animal, and every ecosystem has a story waiting to be discovered. And we're just getting started. If you enjoyed this journey into the hidden intelligence of urban wildlife, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next documentary. Share this video with someone who thinks pigeons are just ordinary birds. They may never look at a city the same way again. And before you go, tell us in the comments. Have you ever stopped to watch pigeons and wondered what they were seeing? Your answer might reveal just as much about human nature as it does about theirs.